Right. This is, well, I've just basically downloaded OBS on my home laptop, so still testing a few things out, but because of that, I've done a bit of work that hasn't been screen recorded, so I'll just catch everyone up. Um, so, but yeah, so far I've done this for my first level background. I go into this one and minimize. So I finished off this grid that a few people might have seen me doing. Because the idea is I kind of want to just draw a lot of the things into the background and then put invisible boxes over them in Game Maker so that when the player character touches these invisible boxes, something will happen. Like, let's say there's a landmine, I could have them hidden in the ground or just have them barely poking out the ground instead of and then put an invisible kill box on top of it, so if you go onto that square, you would die. Possibly. But with this idea, what am I trying to say? Basically, I wanted stuff to line up because when I did Rat Raid, my previous game, I didn't have stuff lined up as well, and the colors were off. So like the background texture was done on a different day to the texture to like some of the other textures. For example, like the little hole that you had to avoid because there were in the levels there were certain parts of the level had little holes in it that the rat could fall down and all that. But because I drawed them on two separate occasions. Piscal didn't. Well, I forgot to save, and Piscal didn't carry over the color palette. So I kind of had to go off of just basically eyeballing it and hoping I would get the colors close enough. So when you do play Rat Raid, you can tell that stuff doesn't blend in. Like that hole is supposed to be hard to see, and it's supposed to basically be the same color as the background. It's not. It's a lighter brown than the actual box. So I wanted to avoid that this time by drawing stuff like that into it. There will still be stuff that I do separately, like if I do dead bodies and destroyed tanks and other stuff like that, then I'll draw them separately. But some of the more basic details, like a hole in the ground, or maybe a tree or two, I will draw them into the background and then put an invisible box over the top. So that's why I drew this grid, so that I could make sure everything would line up. So each grid is that is the exact same as the grid I have in Game Maker for like my room size. That might not make sense. It makes sense to me. Um, so I finished drawing off this. This took me forever, and it was really hard to motivate myself, but I got it done. You'll realize I'm quite a stubborn person sometimes. This was probably the least efficient way to do any of this work, but it's the way I've done it. And then I started drawing this, what's supposed to be like level 1, because if I go into my files real quick, um, nope, that's my personal photos. Where the hell am I looking? Yeah, here's like the rough kind of plan for level 1. As you can see, if this thing at the bottom here would like to lower, apologies for this. Okay, well, I don't know how to lower the thing at the bottom. Oh, there we go. As you can see, it's like there's a for level 1. I wanted like a trench at the bottom, like the level exit up here ish, and then all different stuff. And you would start somewhere around here, There'd be dead bodies. Of course, there wouldn't be that much blood because don't want it to be like an 18 game, but there'd be different, destroyed tanks and a few laying down people that you could presume are dead, and the enemy there that you've got to run away from. And there'd be obstacles like dead trees. See, these holes would be like um shell. There'd be holes from where like a bomb's gone off or a shell has hit, like an artillery shell, and those kind of holes, like an artillery shell has hit and exploded the ground, that would be drawn into the background. Some of the other things, like the dead trees, they might not be. I might need to test. I need to test and muck around with them a bit. But these ones on the side here probably would be drawn into the background because I feel like that would be a lot easier. With the skills I have at the moment, I feel like doing trees that you can only look at this angle from is a lot easier than doing trees from a side-on angle that's still top down. That doesn't make sense at all, but I know what I'm on about. That is kind of the floor plan. And so as you can see when I lower it, you can see where I'm going, right? So yeah, that is what I've done so far.